Welcome in to another episode of Untold Stories, a weekly D&D campaign set in Elvoria. We're back with these wonderful humans. Everyone is here, which is the first time that's happened for a while now. But we're here to roll some dice, do some questionable accents, including questionable Victorian children who sound like 80-year-old grandmothers, and hope it tells a good story. I don't think we have any announcements this week.
Hi. Yeah, so meant to announce this during the actual recording, but timing's got a little bit messed up. The Vecna's Book of Vile Darkness, a collaboration between myself as lead designer and a bunch of other creators within the TTRPG space, known as Runic Press, released on the DMsGuild this week when this episode is going out. It is 140 odd pages full of all manner of D&D content to run dark and morally grey campaigns, including subclasses for literally every class, including the Artificer. Honestly, the Artificer subclass is my favourite. New magic items, new spells, new feats, new backgrounds, all manner of player options. And then for DMs, we have 6 campaign villains called the Vassals of Vecna, kind of lieutenants of the Archlich that you can use in your D&D campaign. Kind of dropping them in as kind of campaign antagonists, or even like connecting them all up to see this one whole Vecna kind of connected universe, as it were. There's plenty more in there as well, loads of monsters, loads of curses as well. If you're anything like me, you'll find curses in D&D kind of dull and in need of a redesign, so that's what this book gives you. Curses that last longer, are much harder to get rid of, and much more deadly than the stuff you see attached to magic items and that kind of like. If this sounds like a book you want to pick up, if you want to support the actual play, support me, support the rest of the guys, you can head over to the DMsGuild. There'll be a link in the description below. It's literally only $20, which means it's about 15 cents per page. Some excellent artwork in there, some great work done by other creators, not just myself. And you can support the whole team. Small announcement with that as well. We are currently planning to do a one-shot using the content in the book. Andrew Ximori is going to run that for myself and a couple of other people, which should be going up on the channel relatively soon. So you'll get to see the book in action and all that. It's released in time for Halloween to use all of those kind of dark campaign ideas that you've got and really unleash the dark and spooky upon the world. And who doesn't love Vecna? I mean, I do. He's my favourite villain. But there we go. Again, normally would do this in the standard intro, but kind of forgot about it at the time. So we'll now go back in time to the rest of the group and continue on with our story.
So we will continue with our story. Last time out, you left the burning remains of Eli's farm. Aderyn was in catatonic shock and really unable to have any kind of conversation with the rest of you. But after a quiet night, shall we say, you eventually arrived in Naray around late afternoon, early evening on the 4th of Afakadair, about 10 days out from Tianlong, the major religious festival that will take over the empire. But yes, you arrived in Naray with an interesting interaction with guards at the gate, who essentially just tried to ping you for money, and were intrigued by some of your companions, shall we say. Nonetheless, you managed to pay them off well enough and headed into the town, where you agreed to split up. The first group of Balrick and Lesley headed to the swamps to meet up with Balrick's contact there. And the other group headed down to Dockside to the Saffron Medallion you had been mentioned. Balrick and Lesley at the Sinking Bowl Inn were given a room to meet with his contact known as the Fiddler. But Balrick, upon checking the room, found it to be empty, unlit, and unused for at least a couple of days. at which point he headed back downstairs to meet up with Lesley in the bar. And that, I think, is where we'll pick up.
We're waiting.
Oh, can we make really awkward dad small talk? It's weird weather we're having at the moment.
I can't help but notice this background noise has people in it, and I think that's unrealistic. So.
There's just like awkward like chairs scuffing.
There's just one person going, "Oh, Shan, that's back." Back, crowds of noises. Alright, yeah, I didn't notice. There was no one up there, I don't know.
Was there anything in the room?
I'm not gonna go playing around these people's stuff.
You had an invitation, right? Surely that's what that was. That exchange was happening, unless I'm completely misreading this. Are we here to see a Hitler?
I am. I'm not gonna go breaking locked drawers just to check for Western gone.
How many locked doors?
Oh, there was a desk full of locked stuff. Lesley, no, don't have ideas.
I've got ideas. But are the drawers numbered? Maybe 115 is like a drawer number.
115 was the door, but...
It can be two things.
I look around, are the other two people looking at us?
Roll insight checks.
Insight.
Yeah.
Can you roll with advantage because he's been helping?
You could roll as well.
You can roll yourself. It's hard to help someone on insight, is the thing.
I don't think I would like to roll it myself.
It's a gut instinct more than anything.
I got 10.
10. Well, Lesley, see if you can beat a 10.
You're 0.
We're back! Lesley, you're enjoying this wine you've never tasted before. And this kind of... Despite being grown from fruit in swamps, it's probably good.
I'm warm into swamps.
Real earthy texture.
Yes. Balrick, they're aware of your presence, but they're not like staring you down by any means.
Alright, Lesley, let's go up there. I'll let you see what you think of the place, and I'll lead Lesley upstairs to the right room.
Cool.
Hello? Anyone around?
Empty silence of a fairly small room. None of these rooms are big.
Does it look like the room could have like another door in it?
You can roll investigation if you want. Look for a secret door or something.
I guess I'll look over at these drawers more.
Sure. Roll investigation for me.
I'm very wary of it though, so I'm very nervous.
3. Are there any other doors in the room?
There are not. There is a window and a door.
Nice. Nice.
12 plus 6, 18.
18. Two things for you. One, as Lesley is looking around the room, goes over to the window and like acknowledges there's a window. You give the window a second glance, and while it is locked from the inside, it's not like a key; it's just a latch. And you can see some kind of scuff marks on the wood that you would think like come from someone like using a thin implement to go underneath the window and unlatch it from the outside. There seems to be like a number of these. But looking at the drawers, most of the ones that have locks on are actually unlocked. They contain kind of a standard assortment of like inkwells, quills, pads of paper, document holders, satchels, that kind of stuff. You find in one a coin tray essentially laid out with 9 gold pieces, 37 silver, and a bunch of copper if you want it.
I don't want to mess with these guys' money, so I'm going to leave it alone.
But you do
I'll
find...
I'll leave the door open for Lesley to notice if Lesley wants to notice it at some point.
If Lesley can notice things.
I mean, you'll notice coins that are in a drawer that big that's changed. But the main thing is you do notice that the bottom right-hand drawer is locked.
Alright, Lesley, how much trouble do you reckon we're in?
I think we came up to a room that's only got a door and a window. After you were invited up into it, and we're just waiting around, and we're bored.
Do I break a lock, is what I'm saying.
So I don't think Lesley can actually lockpick. I think
don't-
Lesley would love to be able to lockpick.
Yeah, I don't have lockpicks. I'm not lockpicking, I'm saying do I break it?
I think. If we leave the money, is it a really nice desk?
It's not It's not like mahogany gilded or anything like that.
Fuck 'em. Break that lock.
Alright. I'm a strong man.
Make me an athletics check, I guess.
Uh, 13 plus 4, 17.
17. There's a dunk. And you just essentially break the wood that the lock's embedded into and just pull the still locked bolt out. And the drawer kind of opens up. Inside this drawer, you find not a lot, to be honest. Considering that there was a chunk of money there, this drawer doesn't contain much money. There's a small pouch containing 5 gold, 10 silver. That looks like a fairly discreet pouch. But what's more interesting here is there is a thick leather-bound... Journal's the wrong word, more like a ledger, like a large A4 thing, with wrapped up cord around it, that's in this drawer. And you also find a smaller, A6 notebook that appears to be quite water damaged, but also made of leather on the outside.
Right, I'll grab both of them and dump them out on the desk. I'm gonna leave them again. Leaving the money.
Leslie's actually gonna quickly go to the corridor.
Mm-hmm.
Just have a look around. And I think... Is the door squeaky?
Not particularly, no.
That's unfortunate. Leslie's gonna partially close the door. And I think move a chair in front of it, so if it's opened we'll hear.
Yeah. Yeah, that works.
And is gonna start trespassing in these books.
Okay. Lesley starts flipping open the books.
I'll throw Lesley the small one and I'll reach for the big one.
Okay.
Or is Lesley reading? Did Lesley find some other books? Sorry, in process. No. Alright, you read that, I'll read the big one.
Cool. The big one, as you start going through it, you realise, as I said, it's almost an accounting ledger. It is a lot of accounts of services rendered, amount paid, goods supplied, goods purchased, kind of content. In fact, you flick back a fair few pages, Balrick, and you start to notice records of monster parts in here that feel quite familiar. Yeah, this is almost a full account of dealings being done by this individual, by Fiddler, with names of use that you may find useful later, essentially. They don't necessarily mean anything to you straight away. But meanwhile, Lesley, you realise that what you're going through is someone's personal notebook. This contains fiddlers, you assume fiddlers anyways, thoughts and musings on events in and around Naray. There are things containing like their own personal likes and dislikes in terms of like places in town, particular prostitutes that they like having down in the dockyards, individuals that they don't want to deal with in future. They felt that their business practice was questionable. One thing you do get that appears to draw your attention most of all, just because of like the wording on it is odd compared to everything else. There is mention of a new narcotic developed by Auntie Blightroot by the name of Dream Mist. It appears in... I'll tell you what, roll me an investigation check.
Sorry,
Yeah.
quickly, who was it? A new narcotic by something?
Auntie Blightroot. I'll tell you what, insight or investigation, your choice.
Ooh. No, that's just a straight 14.
Straight 14. That is enough to kind of, because like this stuff is all put in context with a place called the Midnight Mist in Geodothras. Context clues kind of allude you as to what that is. But one kind of there is like a circled phrase, for lack of a term, similar to what Balrick kind of said when you first arrived here. There is a phrase in there that just simply reads, "Mist glides easily in the harbour."
And one more time, the name of the place where it seems to be.
The Midnight Mist. And in terms of like other just personal information, well, actually no, this would come from the ledgers. Balrick, there is a fairly repeated kind of, not like regular, but it's one of the more common names of Pint and the Saffron Medallion.
The name Pint.
Pint.
The Saffron Medallion.
Yeah.
Right. Do we leave these where we found them then, Lesley, or?
Do you have any kind of paper? Like to
I'm
take
not-
the notes.
Not in the habit of carrying it.
Is there any paper in the explorer's pack? Probably not.
There's paper, ink, and quills
Oh,
in
there's
the other
shit.
drawers.
There's paper in here.
Yeah.
Leslie's gonna start copying out some like bits from this notebook. Yeah, I guess like Auntie Blightroot, Dream Mist, Mist glides easily in the harbour, Pint, and then just like all of the courtesans like that Fiddler had like earmarked as good and his favourites. I think a couple of things about its likes and dislikes, just in case we see him. Just have some like things to talk about.
Small talk.
Oh, did you tell Lesley about the pint thing? Maybe you can write that down.
As Lesley starts copying stuff down, I'll start pointing stuff from the ledger out. Being like, oh, this name keeps coming up a couple of times to do with this pub. I feel like we shouldn't take this. They'll be upset if we do, but at the same time, what if it comes in handy?
The ledger. Big book. We're already carrying a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of shady dealings though. It might not make much sense right now, but half the underworld there.
Maybe we can also note a couple of names from this.
Oh, no, it's not going to be much good with that putting information to it, though, is it? Oh, well, this pint, that's it's mentioned as the tavern that they've gone to go find, so we'll remember that at the very least. What's he linked to? What's this pint linked to? Does it say, or?
A variety of ins and outs. Some of the monster components seem to go through them. But they're both a purchaser and a distributor, almost. Like, things reach Fiddler through them, and then you follow the line, and there seems to be... I'll tell you, actually, roll investigation to see whether you can follow the money, as it were.
13.
13. There's names in here that mean like you're working from a very small set of things, but it does seem that a lot of stuff that goes through Pint to Fiddler then often ends up referencing Quarter Moon Cargo as a merchant of sorts.
Right, Pint and Quarter Moon Cargo, then. We'll get them. Alright, well, I guess we'll try and put things back where we found it.
Maybe we should knock that window open so not so obvious who might have taken this. Who might have broken that drawer.
I think I want to go down the bottom of that window anyway. There's I don't know if you can spot it. There's scuff marks as if it's been opened with a tool from the outside.
Place like this. I'm sure it's been broken into more times than it's been entered through the door.
Yeah, I might as well make it look a bit rough, but I want to get down to the bottom there and explore, see if I can pick up any trace of where someone might have been who's come here.
Is there any way, if Lesley looks out the window, is there like, we can get to that area from the front, right?
Yeah.
I think I might want to leave through the front door.
Hey,
So
true.
To see us leaving.
True. Alright. Well, I guess let's head back down then and we'll tell them Fiddler weren't there.
Yeah, Leslie's gonna the latch at least, so it's like definitely open.
Are you putting the personal notebook back, not just... I know you've put the ledger back, but I was wondering what you've done with the personal notebook.
Nice. Not such an entertaining read. It's no lusty Argonian maid. Back in the drawer. We'll leave it as we found it. I think neither of us really want to take anything from this this place.
That's fine. As you're like just finishing scanning through before you put it back, just to make sure you didn't miss anything. The last pages, you just kind of quickly flip to the last entry, essentially, just in case there's anything that would possibly suggest where they went. And it does it, not to exactly word it out. It talks about needing a disappointing inability to complete a shipment. I need to talk to Auntie about what is going on.
Alright, we've got some next steps then.
Looks like we might.
Right, let's get out of here. Tell them Fiddler didn't show. We'll explore out back and then we'll head back, find them what.
As you exit out the door to this room, you see coming up the stairs the other individual who was in the bar, who is dressed in very like plain leathers, but they appear quite aged and well used. Who is like walking up the stairs and heads to room 13. just kind of like clocks you exiting the room for a second. They appear to be a half elf, kind of like short cropped black hair, and a couple of rings on each of their ring fingers.
Scale of 1 to 10, Gethin.
If you were into dangerous looking men, probably a 9.
Leslie's gonna wink at him.
I give him a respectful nod.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'll start walking away. I don't know if Leslie's...
Leslie will start walking, but like the gaze will linger for a second, and then
Roll me perception.
Both, or just Lesley?
Just Lesley.
uh, 19 plus
-2.
19 minus 1, 18.
Still a good number. As you kind of notice as you like linger that gaze, you catch an inside to like the overcoat that they're wearing over the leathers, and you see 3 knives along that, like a bandolier underneath the rib cage, and you also notice them having palmed a knife up on their arm, like fully prepared.
Leslie's no less attracted to them as he walks away.
He opens the door to the room and heads in.
I think we might want to make our exit.
Aye. Alright. I'll trust what you say.
Head downstairs, the tiefling's still sitting there. Alright.
Fiddler's no show.
That's a shame.
I thought they were a reliable performer.
Usually.
Yeah, well, I'll see if I can catch a dead show another day, maybe.
I'm sure he'll be back.
Have a good day anyway.
Gives you a nod. Taps off his cigar.
Let's go to the back. I want to see what this guy's doing in the room.
Don't worry, you're going to spy on the other guy.
Meanwhile, across town, as you two exit the front door,
Balrick's like, I want to investigate tracks, and Leslie's like, I want to spy on people.
I want to see this guy.
the
Maybe he
four
gets
of you have headed to Dockside, which even in this late evening does seem to be fairly busy. You are heading towards the Saffron Medallion. Who is taking point? You also have Pebble with you, which is drawing a lot of attention.
Probably Ximori in a town like this.
With Tauri ready to do some fast talking.
So what's the plan?
Hey, I'm charismatic.
As a rock.
I'm not bad on charisma, actually. Intelligence, not the good. So I think what are we looking for? Saffron Battalion. So I don't want to ask people stuff. I'm just sort of walking to the docks as if I know what I'm doing.
Okay. As you head down to the docks, you walk past a number of like warehouses, buildings, and the like. You also walk past a number of bunkhouses, which you see not a small amount of people entering arm in arm with a woman. Walking past these places, very clearly these places are more rent by the hour types. And you do kind of come to the conclusion, all of you, Naray doesn't really hold accommodation for travellers. The people who come here are merchants who are in out, and there's like maybe a couple of taverns that have like single person rooms, and sailors who stay aboard their ships. So accommodation is thin on the ground in the classic sense. But the other element that you do get is like there is a decent commotion down here. It does seem to be like if there's a nightlife in Naray, it's down in Dockside. As sailors look for stuff to do, ways to entertain themselves, and the like. So there's plenty of bars, gambling dens, and the like. In terms of just like heading where you're heading, you eventually just head down to the dockside itself, out looking onto the Neoharnine River in the dark, in the kind of fading sunlight, heading almost to nighttime. And you actually see right on the waterfront a large warehouse that appears to have its doors wide open and a decent crowd mingling around both in and outside. This large, like, probably 3-story high, if you would compare it to an actual story house, but like for a warehouse it's like one room with maybe a top mezzanine floor like thing traditionally.
And looking at sort of the commotion, does it look more like sort of worky or more like socially?
Based on the atmosphere, more social.
Okay. I mean, that looks like a good bet.
Sounds good to me.
Sense.
It's I don't think this town is that big on places to sleep for the night, if you get my drift.
I suppose you don't need to if you sleep on the barge.
Yeah, most beds here are less. Well, I mean, they're there if you've got company, shall we say.
I think I'd probably be more comfortable sleeping on the cart anyway.
Yeah, that
Sure,
seems
that's
probably
nice.
the way to go, I think.
At least we can make sure it's still there in the morning.
Yeah, and all the stuff will still be there too. Yeah. Let's get a drink, shall we?
Yeah.
Sure, you head towards this large building which has a decent number of sailors. Sailors and dockhands hanging around, a bunch of them with tankards in hand. And you do notice that on the overhang is a saffron coloured medallion artwork, just painted on the front.
I quietly think, nailed it.
This place looks fairly busy, but upon like entering, like while it does have a bar like running along the left hand side as you enter, it does appear that most of this space is given over to tables where groups of people are rolling dice, playing card games, and all manner of gambling is going on.
Anyway, keep a tight hand on your coin purses, just in general.
Will do.
And, try to watch how much money you're putting into bets, so say looking at Aderyn. Seem like the one who'd probably go for all that. Or Tauri, actually, I suppose.
Only if I know I'm going to win.
Oh,
Can we
yeah.
find any open seats?
Roll perception. Ugh.
2.
2. You're too short.
That one.
In all honesty, you can't make out hell or high water here. I suppose, yeah, the question is, what are you trying to get out of this? I mean, long short, there are tables everywhere. If you wanted to get on a table, you could probably find your way in, but...
Can you ride Pebble yet?
Yeah. just by default of his size versus my size.
That's actually a good point. As you're walking through, there is like the crowd is somewhat parting for you. And like Ximori, you're used to people like getting out of your way. This isn't that. Like this isn't people clocking you. This is people like stepping out of the way to look at the short person behind you and the metal wolf.
This works for me, actually. I'm quite happy about it. I'll just keep an eye on the crowd, just in case.
I don't think Togrim's ever had that much attention before. People just kind of step over him. It's weird.
He's so small.
I was hoping for some food at this place. Food and drink for the evening.
Drink we can probably do. I'll see if they got any food. No. Start barging my way towards the bar.
Behind the bar is a black dragonborn who appears to have like what a dragonborn broken nose would look like, which is far more prominent than it is on a human. It's like, well, Ben, what alright? What can I get you?
4 glasses of whatever. Yeah, 4 tankards of whatever's good. You
Nice
got
and
any,
simple.
do any food?
Aye, I can grab something. You're not going to get anything hot.
As long as it's something that, isn't mouldy. That'll do.
Yeah, sure. He goes away, comes back with 4 tankards, and just throws them down. They look like very weak ale. He's like, jerky, alright.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Jerky. Tough, break your teeth, meat, strips, you know?
Oh, yeah, that'll do.
Alright. He goes down and literally just grabs like a handful of this stuff from underneath the bar and just like puts it on the bar itself, where it starts like absorbing some liquid. Yeah, it's 2 silver all told.
Yeah, no worries. Pass over 2 silver.
Anything else?
That'll do, thanks. Cheers.
Nice. Turns around and starts serving other people.
Yep. I awkwardly carry 4 drinks and a handful of jerky.
The rest of you have like found like a spot by like one of the pillars holding up the roof. Tauri, I'd say you grown up around warehouses a fair amount. The height of the ceiling is not the full height of the warehouse.
That's another floor. Cool.
Alright, here we are. Sorry about the food, it's the best you're gonna get.
That's alright, it's something. What do you think they're getting up to?
I mean, hopefully, in, out, no problems. No weird shenanigans, they just get their deal done and they're out.
For
Hope
some
so.
reason, I don't think that's possible in this town.
God, I hope so, though. Like, I'm trying to be casual, but I am still, like, looking around intently at people's faces.
Roll me charisma stealth.
Now, I've been playing D&D for a while. I know that 5 is usually a pretty good number.
Okay. Yeah, you're trying to like keep yourself not unnoticed is perhaps not quite the right term, but like
I'm trying to be unnoticeable.
yeah, like not be
I'm trying to be-
recognized, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not. You think you're doing all right.
I'm trying too hard to be discreet.
You also
Be
do have the
boring.
added challenge of you are hanging out with the currently biggest attraction in the room.
Yep.
Speaking of big attractions, purple dresses. Aderyn. While this is all going on, while you're waiting for the drink to come over. By the way, really low quality drink. You're used to wine with Lesley. This is Foster's.
Not a sponsor.
Definitely not. Sorry. You notice that, like, while there's a load of these, like, tables, like, out and about, and people move on and off them, and, like, there's no, like, real, like, organised gameplay, you clock that, like, Tauri, you clock this as well. You clock, like, there's some people who seem to be, like, organising tables, essentially. They're essentially making sure that what's going on is fine. Not necessarily legal by the law or by the rules of the game, but, like, stuff is happening and that the house is making money off it, is essentially what they're doing. But, Aderyn, what you notice is that not this entire floor is that. At the back, there is a section that is slightly raised that allows the people sitting there to kind of see the entire space. And you can, like, see, like, a couple of, like, booths, as it were, like long sofas arranged at the back with seemingly, like, their own supply of food and alcohol.
I'm gonna take a sip of my drink by muscle memory and put it right back down. Disgusting. And I'm just gonna say, just really absent-mindedly, there's so many eyes watching us.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that.
Why are some eyes higher than the others?
Because there's an entirely hidden floor.
I guess some people are taller than others. So, you know, my eyes are kind of, yeah, higher than Togrim's.
Are we just standing, or have we got, like, a booth or something?
You don't have a booth.
Okay. So I am literally, like, waist height with everyone, kind of, like, looking up at them. Okay.
You're on the back of Pebble. It's a little bit taller.
I think that would make it even more of a spectacle. So I'm probably just stood next to him and he's, like, sat there, motionless, next to me.
I never asked you to, Togrim, why did you give Pebble 2 eyes?
The blue is it's a gem, but it's how I control him, I guess. How I can link with him. And I just decided to make it part of his eye rather than his heart or something.
So you control through the eye.
Kind of. I don't really want to say more here, in case people are listening, but kind of.
Don't know if they're listening, but they're watching.
Definitely. Yep. So I'm assuming someone's listening as well. You always have people listening to conversations in bars and stuff.
But it's harder to see the ears.
Say that again, what?
It's a lot harder to see the ears of people.
Yeah. But people are still listening all the time.
Why are we here?
Why are we? I actually don't remember why we came here. Was it Tauri that had the name of the place we were?
Yeah, it was we were suggested to come here by the guard.
Ah, okay.
Well, I don't like it here.
Tauri roll me perception, and Ximori roll me personal history. So I'll give you intelligence at advantage.
21.
10.
10. You got a weird feeling about this place. Tauri, though, after Aderyn mentioned like the some eyes are higher than the others, and you commented on the extra floor, you actually also do clock the section at the back. The lack of a better term is a VIP area. Eyes drawn to it. There's two figures that particularly grab your attention. There is a very tall red dragonborn that just appears to be like at the edge of the boundary of it, essentially. There seems to be like looking out over the entire floor, and you think has clocked your group. The fact that everyone seems to be paying attention to your group has drawn their attention. And more interestingly, you see a very large, broad, like round-headed Goliath just like lounging on one of these booths, just kind of like motions, and you see him and the Dragonborn briefly have a conversation.
So Dragonborn is the pit boss. Goliath is a bit more like the man in charge. Of
Good analogy.
the location. I kind of just want you to just kind of like do a like slight nod tilt to Ximori. Ximori. Made it sound posh.
That's Ximori.
When the claws break your insides and there's more claws inside, that's Ximori.
When the tail smacks your face because it didn't like the fungus attacking its face.
That's Ximori.
In the way that Ximori would probably notice the very subtle "I'm not drawing attention to it" way. Kind of like with the eyes.
Yeah, you know, this is probably done here, aren't we? Let's get going, shall we?
I think we have better wine back on our wagon, frankly.
Yeah, I think I remember this place or something like it. Either way, I don't like it. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. This beer isn't very good.
You know, been here, checked it out now, and
While I remember this, Aderyn, it came up while you were away. Who's your telepathic connection with currently?
because it was with the old man.
It was with Lesley, but obviously that.
You cut it with Lesley briefly during the whole mushroom fiasco.
Yeah.
Says Lesley,
Would it have
Scream
happened?
at me.
Would you have put it back
the mushrooms.
at some
No.
point in the last we had a long rest.
You were shut off, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I've just been shut off. So if anything,
There is no.
No one.
either no one or I'm just like tentatively reaching out randomly.
Okay.
Because last confirmed one was the old man whose house we burned down.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Just checking. We'll jump back to the two dads.
Arc, actually, the telepathic. What's the distance?
Number of miles equal to charisma? Something like that.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's surprisingly long.
Lesley is really missing Aderyn's voice in his head.
Yeah, we're going to go around the back of the building.
Hmm.
See,
But as we're doing this, Leslie's gonna start saying things and then saying Aderyn would have laughed so much if she'd heard that, sort of gonna overcompensate. Sorry, but yeah, we are going to the back of the building.
Balrick is barely going to process them. It's like, oh my god, Lesley is really obsessed with Aderyn. Oh my god.
Wow.
Leslie's really like that, man. She loves men with knives.
Yeah, investigating the root of this rope.
Okay. Roll me. Yeah, make it investigation. It's not survival yet.
Can Lesley help?
Yeah. Investigation
Yeah.
can be helped with. That's fine.
I appreciate that help. That turned it from a 9 to a 19.
Nice.
That's a plus 10 help.
Can confirm. Good help. You kind of head out the front door and like go around the side to that, and compared to like a lot of this wood, which is just kind of damp and starting to grow algae, there is a portion of it underneath where this rope lands that doesn't have any algae growing on it. Balrick, you would know that just comes from heavy foot traffic, or decent enough foot traffic to prevent the grow of plant life on there. And in fact, looking down, like over the edge, you can also see that this comes out right next to a rope ladder that leads down. And this rope ladder leads down directly into the swamps. It doesn't even lead to a path or anything like that. But you can see that down in the water there is a small, like, stump, maybe about a foot or a foot and a half out of the swamp water. That would be ideal for like tying up a boat, a skiff or something to there. But there is nothing attached to it currently.
The trail goes cold here to Lesley. I don't know if you can see that. Looks like there's potentially a boat or skiff docking point. So likely it's whoever's been up there, come down here, go on their skiff and went away.
I still think everybody's lying about these skiff things. Use boats for water.
That's just the word that I heard used. I've never heard of them.
At that point, you can that kind of prompts you to look out, and you can see someone on one of these skiffs, like tying them up to another one of these, somewhat like slightly down the shoreline. These things are like, they're very flat, almost like square surfboards, for lack of a better term.
Rafts.
Yeah, they're a slightly curved raft, essentially, that people seem to stand on, and then use some sort of propulsion method, either like a pole or an actual like push oar while on top of it. And you can see this person is like.
In the distance, we hear one go, "That's Ximori." Sorry.
Yeah, they're wearing stripes. And a hat. But no, you can see this, and you can actually see that this person's got like a decent like collection of fruit, wood, leaves, kind of plant matter, like stacked up on this thing, and it's still staying afloat and moving across. You see like a few others already tied up, kind of thing.
So the side with the window of the pub is kind of, the tavern is not very well hidden from the swamp.
So no, the tavern itself is not well hidden.
The string, the rope hanging from the window is like fully visible.
Right now, yeah. It doesn't like hang all the way to the floor. Like it's not like you step off when you're on the ground. Like there is a drop to it.
Okay.
So it's slightly above eye lines. You've got to know to look up for it, but it is still dangling there.
I reckon we've lost it.
I think maybe this is we'd have to stake this area out to see who comes. But what do you think of that bloke who was upstairs? The sexy bloke who was upstairs.
Sexy bloke?
You saw him. Dark hair. Eyes you could just
right.
drown in.
I don't know. Just a fella, you know.
Fella. Do you know what this fiddler man looks like?
No idea. Just told what to say, where to go and what to say. I'm a bit miffed actually that it's not there when I've said.
I agree. Ooh. I agree. It's a bit rude. There. Your accent is bit rude to tell a man to meet you upstairs and then not be there.
Exactly.
I think this bloke was walking into the room that we left.
No, you were walking into the one next door.
Was he? Yeah, then...
13.
He walks into 13, not 15.
Oh, that's different. There's no rope hanging down from 13. Or is there?
Roll perception.
You always climb the rope to 15, then Assassin's Creed your way across.
Could do. Sure, that was perception.
-1.
Sorry, it's 14.
14, there is not a rope hanging down from room 13. But you can see room 13, and it does appear to have some flickering candlelight in it. It's not fully lit, but it does appear that whoever is in there has some candles lit.
Right.
We don't have, like, a very, very tall stick with a mirror. No.
I don't know what's in your packs.
Oh, it's a very, very tall stick with a mirror, Gethin.
10-foot pole and a mirror. How very 3rd edition.
Shall we return to our team?
Yeah, let's at least see if they ever had any success finding us a bed for the night.
Well, if they've gone to this saffron medallion, saffron medallion, that's where we might find this pint person, and we might be able to get some clues on something or other. It seems like there's something happening.
And according to Fiddler, we might also find Cassandra. Thank you for writing that.
It took me a minute, then took me a whole process. I
will admit, I wrote down the name, not 100% sure what Emma was referencing, and then I was like, nope, I know what she's referencing.
Was noted.
It was noted. Assassin's Creed.
To have a very, very, very sweet and angelic like voice. I can't wait to hear those pipes.
Maybe we'll find more about what's happening up in near the pint fella. He might know his whereabouts. If not, I'll come back tomorrow. It's fine. I got to offload the stuff. Alright, let's go back.
Okay. By odd coincidence of fate, you all happen to meet up at the wagon, basically arriving at the same time. Where Drake, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Thank you. Deck, scuttles.
You can say dirt like a
stabby thing,
Yeah.
Scuttles out from underneath the wagon straight towards you, Balrick, and does laps around your legs for a second, and also glances towards Aderyn and does, you think, an affectionate just towards Aderyn.
My friend.
Hard to do a Komodo dragon tongue as a human being, I must say.
How many hours in the mirror are you going to spend doing this now?
Too many.
He's got plenty of time on his hands. He's not allowed to leave the house anymore.
Don't have a gym workout in the morning, it's just this now.
Come on, 10 more reps.
When Gethin finally gets a woman, they'll be happy though.
That's getting cut.
Rocks fall, Tauri dies. Oh, who knew?
What a shame! Anyway, you've all met up. Feel free to discuss your findings. Oh, jeez.
So, I don't like this place.
I think
am not keen on staying.
sort of charm to it. It's growing on me.
Well, that's good, because there aren't any beds anywhere.
Well, I don't think the people in these taverns are doing so much sleeping.
Well, there are beds, but they're not empty.
They have a frequent turnover, shall we say. As people are frequently turned over.
Alright, let's calm down, children. Yeah, I'm not keen on this place either, but we're stuck here for now. My business isn't concluded. Couldn't find him. My guy didn't turn up, so I think we need to have a look around to find him, or maybe just wait till tomorrow. But we might have some leads on what happened to him. So no one else have business in Naray. I swear someone else said they had business in Naray.
I thought we all had business in Naray.
I came here to see if there were any business opportunities, but
Got this
Based
might
on-
be a place to lay low, but no.
all we do here is draw attention. And I don't think there's any businesses here that I would probably want to have dealings with.
Anyway, you find anything at the Saffron Medallion?
Drink, gambling.
Bad drink, bad food,
Lots of
probably
eyes.
bad gambling.
Oh yes, no, very bad gambling.
I think there
Well,
might
I
be
don't know
some.
if it counted as food, more like snack.
There might be something there. We've got found some small bits of information. Lesley wrote some of it down, but there's a guy who did dealings with Fiddler. I don't know if I said that out loud. There's a guy who did dealings with my guy, who might be in the Saffron Medallion.
Now,
Might try and find him. A name, not a real name either. I think.
Ximori, roll history.
$16?
Pint rings a bell.
Oh, that rings a bell.
Oh, does it? Oh,
That's probably not a good thing.
Well, enough. Lesley, you found some other things, didn't you? You wrote down some other things that aren't prostitute names.
I did indeed write down some things that aren't prostitute names, but I won't lie, the majority of what I wrote down.
Was it just descriptions of prostitutes that you wrote down? The
And their
names.
ratings out of 10. They're all 10s. So Lesley would have written down of the things that he read. The things about the drug. The things about likes, dislikes. Could favorite prostitute. Yeah, that's about it. I think that's it.
In terms of,
TripAdvisor reviews.
It's the drugs.
In the harbour.
in terms of likes, dislikes,
Oh, thank you.
one that points out, considering various things people have said, not a fan of pint. You'd read it initially and just assumed that he didn't like pints and had just missed off the S. But multiple people have now mentioned an individual pint. And it's
Oh
like
my.
it's like a complaint of like, don't like working with him. It's like, colleague I don't like.
Okay, well, let's say that Lesley tells Balrick that.
Why is that name familiar?
I reckon then we'll go find this pint.
Yes, it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I spend my inspiration for one of the alternate
Yeah,
Ooh.
to remember a detail from my past?
sure.
Why do I remember Pint?
Pint is a name you only remember through foggy haze, in association with activities you would rather have forgotten. It was a name associated with a venue you conducted a pit fight in. And considering where you are and almost your reason for coming here in the first place was just remembering Naray, you're starting to piece things together that he was quite possibly the owner of the pit fighting ring where you were put in at some point. I would also say you know he is a Goliath.
Oh, that's not good. click. So Pint is the owner of like one of the big pit fight arenas here in Naray, probably in the Saffron Medallion, I'd imagine. Which means he's seen me before. I mean, he is a Goliath. I mean, not like Balrick, but well, I mean, like Balrick, but Goliath. No.
Right.
This ain't good. This ain't good, guys.
No, I'd prefer not to deal with Goliaths.
And if Tauri saw two people and one of them was a Goliath, that's probably Pine.
He was most certainly a Goliath.
You've seen this Goliath.
He owns Saffron Medallion, based off what I could see. His
Right.
demeanour, at least, made it seem either he owns it or he was in charge of it while we were there.
Oh wow, he's a Goliath. I guess we try and get a word in with him.
Shit, that's... No, Ximori isn't clever enough to figure that out.
I'm not the fondest of this idea now, actually. But if we want to get out of here as fast as we can and not linger here, I need to offload my stuff. I can't be going around with this stuff.
You need to do that deal, otherwise they'll come looking for you. But if we stay here too long, they might come looking for me.
It's all
Then I
in them.
suppose some of us had better head back.
I think that maybe if we can stick together in this city, we might fare a little bit better.
I'm less keen on splitting up now. I didn't want to spook my contact essentially by bringing all of us down there, but in this situation, especially around this sort of people, safety in numbers. We can be a group and be not low profile, but without being shouted from the rooftops, But
I'm sorry, but anywhere that Lesley goes, he's shouting from the rooftops.
And I mean, anywhere that Pebble is going is also pretty loud.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
that does
metal
get
on the
a lot louder,
cobblestones
mate.
does have that effect.
I mean, the large metal dog has that effect.
Leslie's just gonna go up to Pebble and like look offended on his behalf as well.
Hey, you know at this point, what do you reckon is the best way to get his attention and get a word in with him? Are we going guns blazing? Go up to march up to him, be respectful?
No. Right.
Frankly, I think if we just go back in, someone will come talk to us based on the notice we got.
Ximori?
Oh, and I wasn't with you.
Like,
Dog was.
if we go, I mean, the best way to try and get him to do something is to, do business with him. Which would mean, let's say, like, looking at Balrick, he'd probably want you to be a fighter. Just to see you get the shit kicked out of you.
Goliath, man. Hey.
Like, yeah, he was, heavy-handed in everything. I think.
I've known a few men that'll sound like a lot like him. We'll go see him. Either way. I need to find my contact, and the only link I've got is this pint. So,
I mean, also, he is very probably part of the chain.
oh, I guessed as much. Right back to town is.
I think with you, a couple of you having to stare down things you would rather not, is a good place for us to stop for now. And you guys can spend a bit of time preparing yourselves before talking to Pint at the Saffron Medallion. But until then, see you next time.